Today is a big day for our filly Mesa. She's going to be saddled for the very first time. This sweet girl is finally in good health and able to be started this winter. Although we won't be riding her for another 2 years, we're going to begin introducing her to a very lightweight Sawbuck pack saddle. Today is Mesa's first saddling, and we're going to show you what we've done to prepare her and how she did. I cannot believe how big this girl is. It's hard to believe she's the same horse we brought home less than a year ago. We purchased Mesa from a family in Wyoming as a weanling, several months after the loss of my husband's mare, Timber. When this little filly came up for sale, knowing the outfit she was from and having a close friend who had purchased several horses from this breeder in the past, there was no doubt she would make an incredible mountain horse for my husband. Mesa's mom is 3/4 American Quarter Horse and 1/4 Percheron, and her sire is a Foal Percheron. She was so small when we picked her up and had only been haltered a couple of times. She was a little timid, but she was the sweetest foal. Mesa has grown leaps and bounds, but she's also had her fair share of setbacks. Last winter, she fractured her coffin bone. The news was devastating, but thankfully our amazing vet was able to cast it and later make her a custom shoe to stabilize her hoof capsule while the fracture healed. She recovered 100% and is completely sound. Then this past summer, while we were on the road for work, a gate was accidentally left open and our caretaker called to tell us Mesa and our mule Josie had escaped. Mesa tore her face while running loose through the neighborhood. Our incredible neighbors stepped in, helped catch both equines, and hauled Mesa in for emergency sutures. Over the summer, I doctored her daily and kept a close eye on her injury. Thankfully, it healed well, and she can comfortably wear a halter. With Mesa finally healthy, we can start working with her consistently. And today, she gets saddled for the very first time.
Come on, girlie, let's go get you groomed up. Look how a muddy mess. No, Clyde, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. You are so big. You are so big. Well, this is Mesa. She will be 2 years old this coming April. And she is 3/8 quarter horse, 5/8 Percheron. So her mom was a quarter draft, her dad's a full draft. I think we did our fractions right. And we got her because we had to put our horse Timber down, and that was going to be Jason's mare. So while that was a sad thing that we had to do, it did result in us getting Mesa, and we love Mesa very, very much. So she is going to be Jason's horse. She's going to be a big girl, which is going to be perfect for packing him in a backpack and whatever around in the mountains. We're going to use her for a pack horse as well here and there. We like to do that with all of ours. So she'll just kind of be an all-around horse for us to use. And today we're going to put a saddle on her for the very first time. So we have prepped her with a lot of work with ropes and just a lot of handling since she was a little baby. We got her when she was a weanling. And we have put the bareback pad on, but we have never put a saddle on her yet. So we're going to start with our little Sawbuck pack saddle because it's nice and light. She is still very much a baby, so we don't want to put too much weight on her. But our little Sawbuck with the pad probably only weighs about 20 pounds total with the pad and everything. So that's like the perfect little saddle to put on him. All right, Mace Face.
I am sure thankful for our corral that we built this past summer. It's really come in handy for Rooster, our Mustang, but also for Mesa and Josie as well, and now Taz, our new horse. Even though Mesa has seen this flag a ton, I always like to start off and make sure that they're okay with it. It's always important to check both sides of the horse because sometimes they can be a bit more touchy on one side or the other. Since Mesa seems fine with this flag touching her, I'm going to move on to the next step, which would be making some noise with this flag. I don't want her to be overly reactive to this noise. I do use this flag to drive her when I need to, but I teach them to read my body language and go off of that rather than the motion of the flag. Mesa was a little bit reactive there. We're just going to keep working on this. As soon as she stops her feet, I'm going to stop the motion of the flag, letting her know that that's what I'm asking her to do. Just stand here and not worry about it. She's getting a little bit confused that I'm asking her to go, and that's okay. She's still just a baby. With each new session, she's going to learn how to differentiate between when I'm asking her to go and when I'm asking her just to stand there and not be reactive. Mesa is Jason's horse, and while he hasn't ever started a colt before, he has been doing a lot of groundwork with her and he's done a really good job. He could have definitely saddled her for the first time, but he decided that he wanted me to do it. Now that I feel like Mesa is comfortable with this flag, I'm going to go ahead and ask her for forward motion. The difference is I'm directing her with my hand here. I'm going to tap her just a little bit because she wasn't getting what I was asking, but probably next time I won't even have to tap her. I'm going to work her in a couple circles here. My goal is to have her going around on a nice loose line. She's doing a pretty good job. She definitely has a little bit of a sassy attitude. She's been eating her growth full grain and also a lot of alfalfa, so she's probably got some pent-up energy from all that extra calories we've been giving her. I'm going to have her roll her hinds. This is one of my favorite maneuvers. It really teaches them how to balance on their own. If you do this move correctly, it sets them up perfect to go the other direction on your circle. I'm going to ask her, and she's getting it, so I don't even need to bring my flag in. That was a lot better than the first time. This filly is so smart, and she really tries hard to be a good girl. Jason is planning to do most of the work with her. I'll just step in ever so often if he feels like he needs the help.
Yeah. You tell she's a half draft.
We are planning to take Mesa to the 2027 Ty Evans Colt Starting Clinic, where Jason will be doing all the work with her there at that clinic. She'll be 3.5 then, and she should be plenty old enough to start putting some light rides on. I'm going to ask her to roll the hinds this way. I'm looking for a little quarter pivot with that front inside foot, and I want her to cross her back foot over. Those two little parts of this are very important to get her to balance well, better. Not run into me, and do the move correctly.
Oh, she's better.
Don't. That's good. You don't want a speedy horse in the mountains. You just want a big old safe horse. Good girl. That was very nice, Mesa. I know, we still got some silliness in there. That's what we're gonna let you get that out before we try to put the saddle on you. This is a lot of energy for her. Nice. All right, now we'll roll the hinds. There you go, good. Oh, that was really nice. I like that a lot. That was really good.
It's typical of Colts to get a little distracted, so I'm just going to give her a little bump to see if I can get her attention back.
Good girl.
We're going to do a couple more circles and then we'll move on to the next thing.
Nice girly.
If you notice, I really don't lunge horses very much. I really try to work on the horse's mind and not just wearing them out physically.
Yep, one more at the front end so you don't run me in. There you go. One more. Yep, there, that was more balanced. I like that. That was really good.
As soon as she has a
Good
nice
job.
balanced step, I go ahead and release. You can see her licking and chewing there. That's her processing what I just asked her.
Nice.
I like to work on backing a little bit too. I want it to be nice and soft like this.
Nice. Very nice, Mace. All right, let's put your little bareback pad on, huh? Yeah. No worries with this thing here.
I'm going to recheck that the flag isn't a big deal. Since I had to firm up and tap her with it a couple of times, I just want to make sure that she doesn't think that it's out to get her. She seems to be feeling a lot more confident now than she was at the beginning of the session. And mentally, she seems like she's in a much calmer place than she was when she first came in here, so we're going to go ahead and move on.
She's gonna eat it. We're gonna play with that in a second.
I'm going to double check that she's not at all cinchy. She's had a bareback pad on and we've cinched that up on her, and I've done a lot of prep work with these ropes. She knows how to yield the pressure all around her cinch area.
Good girl.
I just want to make sure that she's not reactive about anything tight around her belly. That would let me know that she's either mentally having a hard time or maybe even is in some pain. But just like normal, she doesn't care about this at all.
Good girl.
I'm also going to make sure she's okay with things around her front legs because that's where the cinches are going to be dangling when I put them down off the pack saddle. I'm also going to make sure that she's okay with things around her rear end because we will be using a Britchen today on the pack saddle. We've worked with this as well a bunch of times, but I just want to double check everything before I go ahead and put that saddle on her. Next, I'm going to make sure she's okay with me reaching underneath her and bringing a rope around because there's also a breast collar on this pack saddle. I'm just kind of running down a checklist of everything that we'll need to do with the saddle once it's on, so I want to just make sure she's okay with all those different movements and that she's not touchy anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and put the bareback pad on her. She's had this on quite a few times. I'm definitely not going to sneak around her. I just let that cinch flop over on the other side. I'm going to start off by just putting this on fairly loosely. We'll cinch it up in increments as I work her around a little bit. I really try hard not to sneak around my colts. If anything, I want to make the movements bigger than they normally would be on a more well-broke horse. If a cinch or something were to slip out of my hand and tap them on the leg, I don't want them to overreact to that. So I really try to set them up for success by getting them used to all that kind of stuff. She has a bit of a spook right there. I'm not sure if something on the fence startled her or what that was. But it's really not a big deal, and I'm not going to make a fuss about it.
What did you see?
I'm going to go ahead and tighten up her cinch one more hole. We'll tighten it one more time before we're through with this bareback pad. I'm going to make sure that Mesa can handle this rope being tossed over her while she's moving her feet. Mesa doesn't really have a tendency to freeze up, but I've worked with colts in the past that did. If you don't know how to read a horse that's actually frozen in fear rather than okay with stuff, it's pretty easy to overstimulate them while they're standing there, and as soon as you ask them to move, that's when they'll blow up.
There you go.
I found that if you have a colt that has a tendency to freeze up, Working on desensitizing them while they're moving their feet around is a little bit better tactic. They're usually more honest with how they actually feel about stuff when their feet are moving forward. I'm going to go ahead and tighten the cinch one more time. This cinch is now as tight as I would want the saddle cinch to be. She doesn't really care about these ropes. We're going to go ahead and roll the hinds to a stop. She is balancing so much better and doing this maneuver way smoother than at the beginning.
Cows.
The cows are home for the winter in their winter pasture, and she's just now noticing them.
Good girl.
They're pretty distracting.
Hi. Yeah, distractions, huh? Nice reach. Keep going. There you go.
We often don't show the little sessions we do with our young horses and mules because honestly, it's pretty boring to watch. Normally we just do little 10-15 minute sessions that just consists of some groundwork.
That's why we're moving.
Maybe getting them used to a new object or scary thing, or going for a little walk around the neighborhood.
Good girl. Nice job.
The session today is a little bit longer with Mesa because Jason's been the one working with her, and since I haven't worked with her for a while, I just want to do a little checklist to see how she's doing before I go ahead and saddle her.
There you go. Got a rope in your mouth now.
I just want to get her feet moving both directions with this pad on, so I know that she's okay with the cinch being tight while she's moving her feet faster than a walk. She had the rope in her mouth there for a second, but I'm not going to worry about that. Young horses are just pretty mouthy. It's how they explore their world. I don't make too big of a deal about it. They'll outgrow it in time.
Good girl.
I'm going to go ahead and put these saddle panniers on her back and move her around with those. I just want to make sure she's okay with some movement up there and things flopping around on her before I go ahead and put that saddle on. She has had these on her before, but it's been a while. She's only had a few sessions back since it's been comfortable enough for her to wear a halter after her face injury. We wanted to give her plenty of time for that to heal up. Instead of sneaking around my colts, I often make the movements bigger than needed. I want her to react to this thing rather than the saddle.
Oh, damn.
If she's uncomfortable with something, I want to work on it before I have a saddle cinched down tight on her. She, of course, has to try to eat everything. She had a bit of a hesitation there, and that just lets me know that she's a little uncomfortable with that thing flopping around on her back. I'm going to go ahead and give her plenty of time to think here before I ask her to go the other direction.
Yeah, you did it. I know, you can see it out both sides, huh? Yes.
The ground is a little frozen in the ground corral, and it's pretty lumpy in here, so we're not going to go any faster than a trot today. At least not on purpose.
There you go. That was so nice, Mesa. That was so nice. Good job. Good job. Run away. Run away. There you go. Okay, we're gonna try a full turn now. Oh, that's so pretty. Now this way. Nice. Good girl. Gonna move with those again. There you go. Can't get over her funny little heavy trot. There we go. Want those bags to make some noise while they're on her. Good girl. Oh, that's looking nice. Yeah. That's looking very nice. Good job. All right, girly.
I really want to make sure that Mesa can see this thing out of both eyes. You can see her side eye it a little bit right there. I just want to make sure that she's comfortable with being able to see something like this out of both eyes before we go to put the saddle on her.
It was really good on that side. It's really easy for her. Nice. Can I have that back? Yeah. Oh, you're gonna eat that, huh? Yeah. All right, ma'am. Start with the pad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go eat it. Mm-hmm. Straight into the mouth.
I'm gonna let her check it out and then I'm just gonna throw it up here like she's done this 100 times.
Do not chew on it. Thank you. What do you think?
I'm gonna get everything organized so that it's smooth when I go to start cinching her up. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that the cinch is adjusted close enough to fit her.
About the same size as Josie.
I'm gonna go around to the other side and get everything organized so it's nice and smooth when I go to start bringing up that cinch.
Mm-hmm.
She's pretty curious about this saddle. I'm going to try to keep her from chewing and pulling on stuff because I don't want her to spook herself if she gets a hold of something.
No.
I don't like tying colts up when I'm first saddling them. I actually wait quite a while to tie them up while I'm saddling them. I want to make sure that they're not going to react and pull back. You can see that she's standing there on a nice loose line. If she was really bothered or walking around, then that would be a pretty good indication that maybe she's not ready for the saddle. This is really the only part of putting a saddle on for the first time that makes me just a little bit nervous.
Don't eat that. Silly.
When you're doing up that front cinch, it's really important that you do it nice and smooth, but also quickly. If they were to spook or react when that cinch wasn't tight enough, the saddle could roll underneath them and that could really terrify them. That's what happened to our mule Cedar, if you guys remember her. She was pretty traumatized with the saddle, and that's why we ended up with her. We helped her through that trauma, and she's now packing successfully for an outfitter. Since Mesa's only been used to the front cinch on the bareback pad, I'm going to go ahead and make this back cinch a little bit looser. I'm still going to cinch it up so that it has some firm pressure against her belly, but not as tight as the front cinch.
She just always has to be chewing on something, huh?
I'll have her get used to that at a later date, but for this first saddling, we aren't going to worry about getting it super tight.
Yeah, we won't tighten that back one up very much. Nah, you haven't had a back cinch on ever, so. Hey, ma'am. Do not eat my saddle. Mesa, don't eat it.
We worked with the ropes around her front end earlier and she wasn't reactive about that at all. That was in preparation for this breast collar. She doesn't care at all and would rather just chew on her latigo that I slipped through up there. This little Sawbuck saddle we got at our local feed store. It was mostly just because it was nice and lightweight and very cheap, so we could use it to start our Colts. Now that she's all cinched up and the breast color looks good, we're gonna go ahead and move her out. You can see by her expression that she is not worried at all. This is exactly what you want for a first saddling.
That's attached to your belly.
But there's one more part that we haven't introduced her to yet, and that is the Britchen. She's a little bit thicker built than Josie, our mule, so I'm gonna have to adjust a few straps. I'll go ahead and speed up the adjustment process because it definitely took me a little while to get all the straps readjusted for Mesa.
What is on your back? There we go. Now you full-blown got a Britchen. It's not adjusted very well, but it's good enough for today. Good job, sweetheart. All right, go ahead. And move your feet with all that stuff on. Good girl. Nice. Stop and think about that. Your halter's a little crooked. Don't want that going in your eyeball. Good girl. Yep. Can you go that way for me? Good girl. There you go. A little slippery in here, huh? Nice.
She's doing really well with the saddle. I'm gonna ask her to roll the hinds and do the same maneuvers I did earlier, but this time with the saddle on. I'm a big believer in breathing out while you're working with horses, and it was kind of cool to watch this moment. I take a deep breath and Mesa follows me.
Yeah. I need that. You can check it out, but just don't chew on it all. What a good girl. Well, you're funny. What are you doing? You're funny. You're funny. How long is your little mane gonna get, huh? Well, this is about as successful as you could hope for on a first saddling. So far anyway. But we wanted to give a quick update on the property search. We were planning on going out for a ride and updating you guys, but some plans changed. So today Mesa got her saddle on instead. But we went and looked at a property. It was over in Eastern Oregon is where this property happened to be. And it was 35 acres at Irrigation. The property was 80 acres total, had a nice little house on it. Nice sandy soil. We could have tilled up an arena really easily. We already had plans for replanting the field and building an arena and a dry lot and some pasture, maybe a track system around the back portion of it that was sagebrush, clearing that out, making a track system. Plans for Mustang pens and a corral, and we're gonna hopefully go get a couple more Mustangs. This is good. This is what I was hoping she'd do, just kind of have a moment to let down while I was talking to you guys. So it looked really good. It definitely wasn't a dream property of ours, but it was kind of a good next step. The price was right for us, and everything was moving forward. We were about to put an offer on it, and the one thing it was going to have to be contingent on was that the water rights checked out. There's been some news lately over in Eastern Oregon of aquifers drying out and rights getting taken away. So that was one thing we really wanted to make sure that we weren't going to lose water rights on that property. And from everything we read, it sounded like they might get cut back, but we wouldn't lose them completely. However, the morning we were going to put in an offer, I finally heard back from the water master. He had to send my email up to someone higher up to get the answers that I was asking. And that property was going to not only get water rights limited, but it was going to lose all rights in 2028. Now, whether that happens in 2028 or there's, some legal stuff that comes along and stalls things out for a while, we don't know. But either way, we don't feel comfortable taking that risk because without that irrigation, that property would just be flat sagebrush. Even though that property looked flat, we've spent a lot of time over in that country. There's a lot of really cool places to ride still up in the mountains. There's good places to go hunting, all that stuff. So we were okay living over there. It would have been a little closer to our families who are also in Oregon. And so yeah, it was a bummer. We try to keep faith that when one door closes, it just means another one's gonna open. So even though we're bummed, we're gonna keep on looking and hopefully find something. But we already had plans for that place. It's hard not to get too excited, and so we were looking forward to moving that way in the spring. But without those water rights, it's just not something we're interested in. So the search continues. But we're thankful for our little place and our little herd that we have. And although we can't get another Mustang right now, I know exactly which one we're gonna go get if she's still available when the time comes. So, Mace, you're a good girl. All right, let's take this saddle off of her and call that a day. That was a really good day. You quit chewing on my saddle. Good girl, you're so good.
I'm going to take everything off in the opposite order that I put it on, starting with the Britchen, then moving to the breast collar. I make a little more extra movement than is needed just to make sure she's going to be okay that I take this around over the top of her neck. She's trying to get a little mouthy with my boot. I'm just going to do enough pressure to deter her from trying to take a nibble off my leg. Once the Britchen and the breast collar are off, then I'm going to take the back cinch loose. I'm going to make sure that she knows that that cinch is down there and it might clink her in the leg. Because these latigos are so darn long, I had to run it through over here so she couldn't try to eat it anymore. With that loose, now I can go ahead and undo the front cinch. Just like putting the saddle on, this is the part that you want to do smooth but fairly quickly so you can make sure that the saddle is either very secure or very loose. When it's in between and they spook, that's when wrecks happen. You can see that Mesa is really not too bothered by any of this though. I'll go ahead and put my cinches up. And she's officially unsaddled. I'm gonna let her check this saddle out.
She says, I'll take
Gonna
that.
throw it up on her back one more time and call that good for the day.
All right, come on. You playing tug of war with me? Thank you. Good girl. Mesa says, don't forget to use code Mountain Built for 15% off Mesa's favorite coffee, Café Mule. Still her favorite, even though it's not called Café Horse. She does look, she's a coffee drinker. Coffee's probably not the best thing for growing young foals like kids, but she loves it so much, it's fun to give her to her. It's her favorite. One more little bit. It's hot. Wait, you gotta let it cool off. She'll drink it right out of this if you let her try. Yum. Is that your favorite? Now she's ready to go. That's how we'll get her up the mountains when we're camping. Give her a little coffee. No, you can't drink out of his cup. You'll get it all sandy. Good girl. You're funny. You're funny. Yeah.